Hi everyone, and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be filming the first video of what I hope will turn into a new series on my channel, and I think I want to call them Two Tuesdays. And that's because I'm going to be writing letters to different people. And I have been wanting to share stuff like this with you guys for so long, and today's topic specifically has really been on my heart for years now, and I just never seem to be able to find the right words to say. And the other night I just sat down, I started typing, and this is what came to me. So today I'm just going to be reading you guys a letter. The reason why I'm filming this video is because I want to let each and every one of you out there know that you are not alone in what you are going through. And so I hope that this video can be a reminder of that. So I'm going to be reading off of my laptop here, so I'm sorry if I'm looking down or distracted or anything like that, but here we go. This is to the girl who has it all, even depression. If you're anything like me, you grew up with a pretty great life. You have an amazing and supportive family, loved your hometown, are financially stable, and have been blessed with incredible friends upon countless other blessings. When you look at it from the outside, you really have no reason to be depressed. Sometimes you even feel guilty for being depressed. Compared to others around the world or even in the neighborhood across the street, your life is virtually perfect. That's the thing about depression. It's like any other disease in that it doesn't care who you are, where you came from, or where you plan to go. Old or young, rich or poor, Christian or atheist, outgoing or shy, depression doesn't care. Depression can be uncontrollable. No matter how much you try, how long you are counseled, or how hard you pray, it always seems to be there with you. Fortunately for me, I believe and trust in a sovereign God. My ultimate faith is rooted in the fact that He has a plan for my life and is completely in control. However, I sometimes find myself asking, why God would you allow such depressing thoughts to enter my heart? Why God would this be a part of your plan for me? Why God has this mental illness not left my body after the past 5 long years? The thing about depression is that it tries constantly to push my faith away from me, encouraging me to believe that none of my former thoughts of God are true. Depression looks different for everyone. I thank the Lord that I've never personally had to deal with any forms of self-harm. But if you are in that position, know that I am praying for you. Know that you are worth so much more, and know that times will get better. Know that each and every one of you, either listening to or reading this letter, you are cared for. Depression makes you feel unloved, but you are loved. Depression makes you feel alone, but there's always someone to turn to. Even when you're surrounded by loving and supportive people, depression can leave you feeling completely empty. Even when you've been blessed with incredible friends, depression can make you feel separated. Even when your family is amazing, depression can make you feel unwanted. Even when you trust in the Lord, depression can make you doubt all that you've ever believed. Well, I'm here to tell you that it gets better. Personally, after 5 long years of mild chronic depression, I can tell you that I wake up almost every morning with a new and improved outlook on life. 5 years ago, I dreaded waking up every morning to go to school. 4 years ago, I dreaded the process of having to make new friends. 3 years ago, I dreaded the moment my peers found out about my YouTube channel. 2 years ago, I dreaded having to leave my wonderful family and friends behind as I moved to college. 1 year ago, I felt the love of Jesus more than ever before. I now write to you in hopes of sharing the peace that I discovered that day. If you have ever been to a church service in Nashville, you would probably know that the worship here is absolutely incredible. Personally, I have never felt more in the presence of God's love than in some of the worship services I have experienced here in this city. One of my first few visits to Ethos Church completely changed my outlook on life. Before beginning the worship, the pastor spoke with us about the lyrics to the song No Longer Slaves. I had heard this song a handful of times before, but this time was different. He encouraged us to think of something in our lives that was holding us back, that we desperately wanted to give up and let go of, a fear that was long overdue. After a few moments of silent reflection, he asked us to each whisper these fears aloud, all at once. Of course, my introverted self was terrified to do this. I had never told any of my friends about my depression before. What in the world would they think if they heard me proclaiming it aloud right next to them? Luckily, this was a moment of safety rather than of fear. At once, we all revealed our fears and let them up to the Lord. As we sang the song, we were again encouraged to reflect on the fact that God has taken these fears away from us. We are His children, and He has done everything for us to live happily with Him. You are His child, and He will take away your fears so that you can live in the peace of His presence. That's another thing about depression, at least my depression. It hates vulnerability. Even admitting the word aloud to God was and sometimes continues to be a struggle. After slowly beginning to open up to my friends about depression, I have learned that it is okay, and actually really great to do so. As time has gone on, I've learned that there are people out there just like me. Girls who may seemingly appear perfect, but are struggling with this illness on the inside. Girls who may always have a smile on their face, but inside are constantly frowning. I've learned to never assume I know anything about anyone. We are all fighting our own individual battles, some of which you would never expect from certain people. For example, the girl writing this letter, who speaks to nearly 90,000 people on her YouTube channel, who is an honors student, who is involved on campus, who is a Christian, who probably always seems happy and confident. She has depression. Yes, I seemingly have it all, but I also have depression. This is not the end, however. Remember that amazing story I told you about the worship service? That is what I have to remind myself of every time I feel sad, lonely, or depressed. Because yes, I do still feel all of those things. But now I can remember and remind myself that the Lord has ultimately taken all of these fears away from me so that I can live peacefully with Him. I pray that you would remember that too. Here's my advice to you. Number 1, pray to the Lord that He would enter your heart. If you aren't a Christian, I have good news. You can become one right now for free because God sent His Son to die for you to prove the love He has for you. Invite Jesus into your heart. It will make both of you so happy. Number 2, search for the song No Longer Slaves by Bethel Music, and as you listen to it, pray to God that He would take these insecurities and fears away from you. And remember that you are a child of God. He loves you and wants you to feel that love as fully as possible. 3. Reflect on the verse John 13:7 that reads, "For you do not know what I am doing now, but soon you will understand." Remember that God has a plan for your life. He's looking out for you every single day, and although you may be discouraged by the current situation He has you in, know that one day you will understand that everything happened for a reason. 4. Know that you are worth more than your mental illness. Depression does not define you, and it never will unless you let it. Work daily to prove to depression that you are worth more. In fact, you are worth far more than rubies, according to Proverbs 3:15. There's my little reminder of it back there. You may have depression, but remember that to some people, you have all they could ever want or hope for. So don't take your life for granted. Never think you know what someone else is going through. Never let your depression get the best of you. And most importantly, never forget that God has unending love for you. Sincerely, the girl who is still trying to figure it all out. We're in this together and you are not alone. I love each and every one of you so much, and I will talk to you guys in my next video. Bye.